Hey guys, it's Tim Shermack, and welcome back to another episode of the Platform Marketing Show. I'm joined today by Christy Cox. Christy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, Christy is a realtor in Mississippi, and we were just talking before we started recording. I need to make sure I get this right. Is it the Triangle area of Mississippi? What is it? What is it called?
It's called the Golden Triangle. So we're actually three cities: Starkville, which is the one everybody probably knows better, which is Mississippi State University;
Okay,
Columbus, Mississippi; and then West Point.
okay, and you live in Columbus, Mississippi,
Yes.
and it's what is like the broader population there? If you combine the populations of all those towns, is it like a couple 100,000 people, or what is the
Now,
size
if you
there?
combined all cities, probably 100 total.
Okay,
And you got to remember, Mississippi State University is mostly populated by students, which don't actually live there. So,
right, right. Okay, so that kind of like lays the foundation or the context of kind of the type of market you're in. I know you've worked a platform at this point for several years. I honestly don't even know what year you signed up. I know it's been at least
it was San Antonio year.
okay. Okay, so actually you've been with platform for over 5 years then.
Yep.
So you've been in the platform for a long time. Do you know where your business was like before you signed up for platform in terms of sales volume? Like, do you even remember?
Yes. So I started real estate probably about 8 to 9 years ago.
Okay.
So immediately discovered that, hey, all my friends and family didn't just start calling me, the next day to sell their house or to help them buy a new one. So I realized real quick if I was going to actually make money, I had to do something and not sit and wait. So magically, your book started showing up on my newsfeed just when I thought that. So, of course, got to talk to you in person back then. Um, and it just made sense, although it seemed like a lot of money at the time. Now, not so much because I was then at about 1.5 to 2 million in sales per year. And I'm usually between 7 and 10 now. Just kind of depends on what's going on. Um, and like I tell Carly all the time, I'm like,
Yeah.
you can get on to me a lot. I understand, and I fully expect you to. And I'm not mad that you get on to me because I could do more. I could probably double that if I really, really tried.
That's actually it's actually hilarious that you say that because I was talking to Carly earlier today because I usually do somewhat of a prep before these podcast interviews with your account manager because I want to make sure I get the story of kind of where your business has been and what have been some of the wins, over the years. And she's like, "Yeah, Christy's actually a really cool story." And this is Carly, telling me this
Right.
that her business has definitely grown a lot with platform, but she could probably double it from where it's at. I think she just doesn't really want to because she likes traveling with.
It's not because I'm lazy.
Yeah, no, she said she likes traveling with Doug. They go on all these RV trips all the time, and she just likes her life kind of where it's at right now
Right.
in that 7, 8 to 10 million range. And then I kind of started laughing because it's funny hearing someone so casually say, "Oh, she's content
Right.
with selling 8 million to 10 million a year," because for most real estate agents across the country they dream of one day being able to sell 8 to 10 million a year, and you're kind of like on cruise control
Right.
at 8 to 10 million of, oh, this kind of feels nice. I'm not a workaholic at this level, but
Well, and I mean, I would say, I just spoke with somebody the other day about this because of another agent in our area, and I was like, I mean, I think that's great, but for me, once you get beyond that, you really need a team to do a good job, and I want to do a good job. So
sure,
while
sure.
still being able, my daughter's a senior this year, she won't be here very much longer, so maybe I'll pick this up a little bit once I have just all my time to do that.
Yeah,
But right now it's worked out. He's also self-employed, so
you're a husband.
we don't want to get carried away with sending money out of our pockets, right? So I've just found that to be a really happy medium that I can kind of travel when I want to, and
So you guys have an RV? That's what Carly said.
we have a fifth wheel.
Fifth wheel. Okay, cool.
Yes.
What kind of fifth wheel do you have?
It's a Coachman, and it's
Okay.
it's actually really nice. We bought it used, but it was an older couple that used it like one time to live in for a few months, and they just parked it in their backyard. So we got a really good deal on it. And we actually took that one summer before last all the way to California
Oh
with our
wow.
daughter
Okay.
and did kind of the big, 3-week loop.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is that when I was a kid, my dad owned an RV dealership. So both
Really?
me and Andrew, yeah, both me and Andrew, that was like our first jobs in high school as we were working like the parts desk
Okay.
at the RV dealership, and they actually were a Coachman dealer, believe it or not.
Really?
So when I was in, I want to say fourth grade, like I, had like a traveling baseball team, the little league team, and it was called the Coachman because my dad's RV dealership sponsored. He was our sponsor for our baseball team. So, anyways, that's just a completely random detail from my childhood. Well, that's cool. I like I said, I talked to Carly, and she
Hmm.
said, yeah, like Christy's business has definitely grown, and yet she's kind of in this perfect happy medium where like, yeah, you're making enough money. If you're selling 8 to 10 million a year, I mean, your GCI is probably somewhere in that 200 to 300,000 range. um and you kind of know, like, if I wanted to, if I prioritize growing my business at all costs, yeah, I could probably sell more. But I have a lot of things going on in my life that I enjoy being able to take trips. You mentioned your daughter's a senior in high school, so you want to be present for all that. So I wanted to establish that early on, that you've been with Platform for many years now. Your business has grown from like a couple million to like,
Probably quadrupled. I mean, our average sales price is like 175. So we're not in an area where,
yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's always important to point out, and I love it when we get to do podcast episodes with agents that are in like the more affordable markets in the country, because I'm from a small town in Minnesota where the median price point is still 200 or less. I completely understand that. That's where I grew up, and that kind of shapes my worldview, I guess. Is I still think a $200,000 house is normal.
Hmm.
And for so many other agents across the country, they're in markets where all the homes are 500,000 or all the homes are 600,000, and they hear a number like, oh, I sold 8 million last year, or I sold 10 million last year, and they're kind of like, okay, you're all right. You're not totally crushing it. You're doing okay. It's like, well, try selling 8 million or 10 million when the homes are all 200,000, right? Because that's actually some pretty serious volume.
Right.
For you then, if you get a $400,000 listing, that's like a luxury listing
Oh, yeah.
in
For
your
sure.
in
Yeah.
your market, right? And yeah, so many agents across the country, if you're in California or if you're in certain markets in Florida, like they just don't really have a conception of what it's like being in such an affordable market like that, where to make 250,000 a year as an agent, you have to really hustle. You have to sell a lot of homes. So
Exactly.
first off, congratulations, because that's really
Thank you.
impressive.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
mostly because of you guys.
I honestly, I'm glad I asked the question early on of like, how long have you been in the platform? Because I would have guessed like 3 years. I was like, yeah, I know Christy's been along for several years, but I did not realize that you were at the San Antonio Mastermind.
Yep.
So,
That was my first, yeah. I think
okay,
I started like September, October that year. And then we actually,
okay, that was in 2019.
19. Okay.
That means you've been with Platform for coming up on 6 years. Um, that's cool. I mean, that's awesome that this partnership has lasted this long and that you've trusted us every month for almost 6 years.
Right.
So the story I wanted to dive into today, Christy, was it was a post you made in our private Platform Facebook group last week, and you shared that you went in to kind of surprise a local small business owner and kind of just bless them and kind of give back to the community. This is something that we preach at Platform, that it should be like integrated into not just your ads, but even how you think about marketing, right? It should be that you are deeply connected in the community, and your ads are just a reflection, right, of that commitment, that you actually are, a member of the community. So would you mind just sharing this story of what happened and kind of why we told you, hey, go into the small business, do this? And let's just assume that those listening have absolutely no context of the Lighthouse Challenge or any of this. So kind of share with people what prompted all this, and then what happened when you went in.
Well, this is one thing that I kind of said to Carly a while back. I've got to get better at that because that used to be the one thing that people said to me that didn't know me on the street. Not that they'll say, hey, you're that realtor. And I'd be like, yeah. And then they would say, I just love what you do, recognizing all the small businesses, locally owned business. That's what they would say. And I'd be like, well, I'm so glad that you noticed that. I really, we'd get a conversation going because of that.
Yeah.
So Kent Live sucked at doing it as of late. And you think it's a couple months, but it turns into 6 months. And then you haven't really
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
anything like that in a while. So she brought it up kind of before y'all posted about the mastermind. And I said, I want more information about that. I want more information about that. And then she's like, it's coming up. It's coming up. And she gave me a couple maybe examples. And I said, I just love that y'all are doing this because we need something to force us. Sadly, we need people to force us to do our jobs. So we appreciate it when you do that. So when
Well, honestly, it's just like straight up, it's just accountability, right? We say it's like if you look at the stats, because you're a personal trainer, right? Too. You had that.
yeah, so I actually have a master's degree in exercise physiology. That was my first
Okay.
half of my life. So yes, I was a personal trainer, managed a gym, taught
Yeah. Okay.
everything.
Okay. So I'm not totally like hallucinating that. I was like, I thought that yeah, you were a personal trainer. So you totally understand then this dynamic of just getting a gym membership does not mean you're going to get in better shape.
Right,
Just the act of signing up in a gym, charging your credit card every month
right,
doesn't mean you're magically going to get stronger or lose weight or whatever. It's the act of actually going to the gym that actually creates that change and actually working out.
right,
And often what people have to do to achieve that is hiring a personal trainer, even if technically all the workouts are on the internet for free. There's not like they don't know how to work out, but having that accountability is sometimes worth paying for. And that's the difference between some people going to the gym or not, is knowing they have that accountability. So for you, that's kind of like what Carly is in your business. For those listening who have no idea what we're talking about, Carly is her platform account manager who you have, like a weekly call with, and she kind of helps you ideate and think of what marketing campaigns you're going to do next. But Carly also functions as just built-in business accountability of so so we don't come up with ideas. You actually have someone kind of harassing you to like actually go out and take action on the ideas.
yes. So when they brought up this challenge, they said this is what we kind of want you to do. She and I had already talked about like a boutique, just because you know they get a lot of business during December, November, December, and then
Sure.
it's kind of dead in the water, obviously after Christmas. So I shop at several local ones. This particular one, I've maybe been in one time and it's been like a decade. So they had
Okay.
just moved out to Highway 45. So I knew in my mind that's what I wanted to do. Well, you can just think of something and all of a sudden it pops up all over your social media. So, like 2 days before I was going to go to this business, their live pops up on, which I've never seen that they even had a live, but they do one every Tuesday at 5. So then I started watching it and I was like, I think I remember one of those ladies from the fitness factory that I managed and personal trained at, which has been like 20 years ago. So I was like, well, that's cool. I'm going to do it tomorrow. So I went. I was going to go to this one place to get lunch, and it was no longer there. And it was a new sign on the door. I didn't even know it existed, and it was a new business. So I walked in, and they have a sit down restaurant, which was extremely nice. Which we need a lot. We need more here. We don't have a lot in our small town. So I was super excited about that. Was sitting at the bar, ordered the food to go, was waiting, and then two ladies walked in. And as soon as she walks up to the bar to order, she said, "Are you Christy?" And I said, "Yeah." And of course, you always act like "Oh yeah, I know you," even though you have no idea who they are. And then she came over and introduced herself, and then we talked for like 15, 20 minutes about everything. Like she's been seeing my stuff on social media, and I recognized her name, sort of. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Sure.
as soon as she walks away, I was put a note in my phone like with her name, so I could go back later and find her on social media and like send her a Facebook message or something. So anyway, got the food, got to take pictures in there to create another ad for that business, and then drove to the boutique where I was going to go. And I knew that they would. One of the owners would probably be there because it was Tuesday, and I knew that they did lives on Tuesday right now.
Okay.
So I went Tuesday. It was around 12:30, 11:30 or 12 probably actually. And you pull up and you're like, what am I about to say? I'm just going to walk in here with the bags of food, and this might be weird. And I didn't even think about it. I just got out, walked in. She had like maybe one customer in there. She walks over to me. She was super sweet. And I said, this is going to sound really weird, but I just wanted to come to your store because I haven't been since you moved. And I just saw your live the other day. And then I just thought it might be a good opportunity to bring you lunch just because I know sometimes January might be slower. And I just thought it might be a nice little
Sure.
blessing for you today,
Yep.
for you and Miss Vicky. And she just, she's like, what? And she just said, I have chills. Oh my gosh. I just can't even believe that you're doing this. And then she comes over and she like throws herself on me, hugging me. And she said, this is what we need in the world. I mean, and I noticed at the end of their live, they do a prayer. Her husband's a pastor. So, I mean, when they end their live every single week, because I watch it every week now, he prays or she prays. And I was like, this is so cool. So she just, I mean, was beside herself. And we talked for 30 or 40 minutes, just standing there. Then the lady that was in the store shopping, she comes over. She wants to know what's going on. So she starts telling her, she was like, oh my gosh, this is what she just did. I can't believe this. And she said, would you mind taking a picture of us? I want to post this on Facebook right now. And I said, you really do not have to do that. That's not why I did this. And she said, no, I want to. You're with which company? And so she starts creating this post and takes this picture. And it's like, well, that's really sweet of you, but no big deal if you don't. So anyway, the other lady, I wound up giving her a card because she starts asking me about property because she just moved to the area, got married, blah blah blah. She lives a couple miles from my house, and they might buy eventually. So anyway, I stayed in the store for like 2 hours. I wound up shopping all of their sale racks, and then she was just elated, kept bringing me stuff, was so sweet. And then she starts telling me about her house, which is in like the prime location that they bought for like a steal probably about 5 or 6 years ago. They've renovated it and it's near our industrial area, which is like prime. So she said, I can't say that we want to sell it right now, but I'd love to know what it's worth. And I said, well, I'll do that anytime. I mean, no, I'm not going to pressure you to sell it unless you want to sell it. But hey, just let me know. I'll give you some numbers. She was like, that would be great. And so I said, well, look, I like to also do small business spotlights. So do you mind if I do a little video of your store? Because I'm just going to put it on my social media. And she was like, you'll do that? And Carly was dying laughing because she was so excited. I said, yes. I said, I'm going to get a shot of me. Do you mind videoing it? And so she puts me in this little location. She brings all my bags. I had all these bags and shoe boxes. She's like, hold all this stuff. I'm going to put stickers on them. And then she said, here's what you need to say. So she starts telling me what she wants me to say. It's like, okay. And then after that, I said, well, I'm going to do a walkthrough. Do you want to be in it? And she was like, me? And I said, yeah. I said, it can't be real long, but just like say a little blurb about your new arrivals or whatever. So
Yeah. Yep.
Carly emails me back. She says, I am dead. I cannot. She said she was so excited. Like she was like, yay, look at our new, jeans. Yay. I mean, so I can't wait for that to come up. It hasn't come up yet, but anyway. So yes, made like 3 new friends in a couple hour period. All of them were interested in real estate and got 2 small business spotlights off the deal. And like I drove away thinking, wow, I'm a dumbass. How have I not been doing this
All these years. Yeah.
every which I mean I was really good in the beginning about doing one, but not really that way. And definitely, just showing up, sneaking a couple videos, sending it to Carly, getting a snapshot of me in the front. Hey, check this place out. It's cool. But not, nothing like this level for sure.
Yeah, not like getting to know the small business owner.
Right.
And so what we've been doing in the platform in the last month, just so again, if people are listening to this podcast and let's say you're not working with platforms, you're kind of like, what is this Lighthouse thing they keep talking about, or what is the strategy? What we've been having our clients do is we call it the Lighthouse Challenge because it's all about this metaphor of being a lighthouse in your community, right? Just providing value to everyone in your community. That the challenge is like, hey, this month, go to a small business owner in your community. Ideally, it's some sort of like retail store because retail is often just slow in, January, February, because so many people buy things in the rush up to, the holidays and Christmas time that often there's just not a lot of money left over for people to buy things in January or February. Or when people do shop in January, February, it's often with gift cards. So the store has already realized that revenue back in November, December. So the gift cards is actually almost like a liability when people use a gift card in January. So we just thought it'd be cool to, hey, let's tell all the agents working the platform to go pick up a pizza or buy some food from, ideally a local restaurant in your area, and just stop by unannounced at some boutique or some sort of retail store and just say, hey, this is going to sound weird, but I just wanted to bless you. I wanted to stop by with lunch. I'm a realtor here in the area, and I'm just trying to kind of give back and be connected here in the community. So there's no strings attached. I just wanted to bring you lunch, and I hope this brightens your day.
Right.
And then you film a quick video or photo at the restaurant, or excuse me, at the retail store, at the boutique, kind of just highlighting them. Again, it's not about you at all. The video, or it has nothing to do with you. It's you almost filming an ad for another local small business in your community, and you just happen to be the host of the ad, but you're giving them a shout out, encouraging people to go shop here, right? It has nothing to do with homes for sale or the fact that you're a realtor. It's just giving an authentic shout out to a local business and encouraging people to go check them out. And you're using your social media platform to kind of broadcast this out. And so when you did that, we call this the Lighthouse Challenge, right? Because you're trying to be a lighthouse in your community. And the interaction I think that you had with that small business owner really just shows how powerful this is. And our vision is that, agents are doing this every month. Like every month you do a small business spotlight, but above and beyond taking a quick photo or filming a quick video, right? And then we run it as a retargeting ad. I think the most valuable thing you said is, hey, I ended up talking to this business owner for like 40 minutes. We just stood there and talked, and I got to know them. And
Right.
like imagine if you did that 12 times a year, once a month, you actually went in and got to know a local small business owner and genuinely had a conversation with them for 30, 40 minutes, right?
Right.
Imagine how much stronger your sphere would be after a year if you added 12. Yeah,
I can tell you this lady probably knows a lot of realtors. She's been in our area for like her entire life, and
sure.
she's probably in her 60s. And I feel pretty certain if she wants to sell her house or somebody comes in talking about buying or selling, she's most likely going to tell them about me. And I didn't even bring a card in. I never said I'm Christy Cox, a realtor. Never said any of that. She just said, "Who are you with?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, I mean, what do you do for a living?" She said, "Because you kind of look familiar." And I said, "Well, I'm a realtor." And she goes, "Well, who with?" And I told her, because of course she knew what my original broker and all that. So then we started, and I said, no, that's when she wanted to put the post up about, what I had done. And of course, then everybody just, oh, this is so great. All these people that I know were posting on the video, but, or not, I'm sorry, the picture that she posted. So it was like, really, guys, it's okay. I was just trying to be nice, but thanks.
Well, it's like it just goes back to this principle that we've talked about at a lot of platform masterminds is if you do cool stuff in real life, automatically your marketing is going to be more interesting. Like do interesting things in real life and automatically your marketing will be more interesting. Like often people are thinking, "Oh, my social media ads aren't getting as much engagement as I see some other people are getting," or why isn't my stuff going viral, or why isn't my marketing working as well as maybe some other realtor that I saw or I heard of at some conference or on some podcast, right? And the answer is always, well, what are you doing in real life? Because at the end of the day, social media is never more than just a reflection of what you're actually doing in real life. Like you can't create this false persona that you're super involved in the community or you know, look how active I am visiting small businesses or being involved in the your local church or local schools or kids sports or whatever, right? You can't fake that, right? Either your social media ads are reflecting who you are and how active you are in the community, because you can't lie, right? So if you actually go out and do interesting, cool stuff like this, like, hey, just showing up unannounced at a local small business and blessing them with lunch and just kind of saying, hey, I want to feature you in my ads to give you a shout out. Hopefully it helps bring in some extra customers in January, by giving you that extra exposure. We've had agents do a similar thing where they stop in at their local police station and just bring like, 10 pizzas for lunch and say, hey, I want to feed the team today. Like, it's on me, just, thank you for your service. Or you do that for the local first responders, like the, paramedics or
My husband's a
the,
retired firefighter, so
oh yeah, sure. So
we've been talking about that too. But
yeah, like if you pop into the local fire department and just bring 10 boxes of pizzas or however many people are there, right? And say, hey guys, I just was thinking of you and just the, the value you create for the community and, the risk that you take just to serve the community. I wanted to bless you with some pizzas. Hope you have a great day, right? There's no, you're not handing out business cards. You're not inviting them to an open house happening that weekend. It literally has nothing to do with your business other than, hey, you spend $100 or a couple $100, whatever, buying food and just bless people. And you'd be shocked how much that affects your marketing long term if you just do something like that once a month or once every couple months. Because I mean, even just getting into the math of it, right? If you spent, I don't know, $200 buying some pizzas, like let's say you bring these pizzas to the local police station or local fire department, that will create more long-term goodwill and you kind of building up social capital than any other way you could have spent $200 on like advertising. You know what I mean?
no doubt, yeah,
Like the actual story that creates, but the also just like just the social connections of showing up and doing something like that. So our insight as a marketing agency that works with realtors is if that's a way better use than just spending $200 on Facebook ads or $200 on Zillow or whatever,
right.
what if you did both? What if you spent the money on blessing someone with lunch and you took the opportunity to grab a quick picture and then you ran that as a retargeting ad? That's way more effective in demonstrating your commitment to the community, um, than just, like I said, plastering open house signs everywhere whenever you have an open house or buying a bunch of Zillow leads. Just being active in the community and then just having your social media ads be a reflection of the fact that you're actually active in the community.
And I'd like to go on record as saying I've never bought one Zillow lead.
And you've still grown your business to where it's at.
And people know who I am, and I know people in my office who have spent $5,000 and $6,000 a month to buy their leads. And yes, they make what I make or more, but they're not doing a great job at their business, and nobody knows who they are.
Well, yeah, they're also spending $5,000 a month on Zillow, and you're not spending anywhere near that.
No, I mean, I'm probably spending half that, and what I'm doing with it is, you know, acquiring leads for me for the next year.
It's also, frankly, just more fun, right? It's more fun to do marketing this way than to send thousands and thousands of dollars every month to some big corporation like Zillow, you know.
I don't know. I've never understood that. So I never did it, not one time, and just started spending the money with platform and with my Facebook marketing and just put all my eggs in one basket to see what would happen. And so I know that's where it came from.
Well, really, all platform is, right, is just acknowledging this reality that the best marketing is sphere marketing. The best marketing is local community marketing. And our insight is that you can actually just accelerate that by adding some paid ad spend behind these things of being active in the community or hosting a client appreciation event or highlighting local small businesses. Like, make that part of your paid marketing strategy, and then you can actually end up spending a lot less money than many agents spend on Zillow and have a very similar business to what they have without spending $5,000 a month on Zillow leads. So do you do you regularly find yourself like being recognized in the community? Are people saying, "Hey, I think I know you. You're that realtor." Like, does that happen for you?
Oh, it's happened for since year one. I mean, at this point, I mean, my daughter and my husband are like, "You're like a freaking celebrity," and I'm like, "Not really," but they know me. I don't know them, but they yes. I mean, everywhere I go.
So, so you're because again, like you've been a platform now for almost 6 years, which is wild. Because actually, the last podcast episode I recorded with Chantel Bullock, she's been a platform for 6 months, and you've been a platform for six years. So that's incredible.
Is that just not interesting enough? What's going on?
Well, honestly, actually, what happened is I saw your post go up in the platform, our Facebook group, and I read the post, and immediately I was like, "We've got to get her on the podcast. That is such a cool story. We have to tell that about what
When it
happened."
happened and when I left that day, I was like, she was like so elated and so excited. I actually tried to send one of the salads back home with me because the other lady wasn't there. She's like, I mean, I can save it for my husband, but I hate to do that. You take it home. I was like, no, take it to your husband or you eat it tomorrow, whatever. But when I walked out, I was like, I got to tell everybody about this because I don't even care if I get a dime off of it. I'm so much more blessed than she is just for what just happened that everybody's got to go do it. Everybody needs to get off their lazy ass because that was me and just go do it. Quit like because of course as I'm driving there after our meeting that morning, I was like, do I want to do it today? Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. You know how we do because we're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
no. Do I look cute enough? Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. I might do something better with my hair or whatever. It doesn't matter, you know. And actually, when she was doing the video, she was like, "Let's look at it," and I was like, "Don't look at it. I never even
Yeah.
look at it."
Right. Right. Right.
Don't look at it or we'll have to do it 25 times. And she was like, what? I can't look at it? I was like, nope. Anyway.
What have been, Christy, some of your favorite ads you've done over the years? Because being you've been a platform for six, almost 6 years now. I'm sure there's maybe some ads that stick out. Like, hey, I really loved that one, whether it's this photo or that video. Are there any ones that just you think, hey, that one really, really like resonated well with the community?
Well, without a doubt, the guy created a small business owner. I mean, I feel like I
Oh,
need to
sure.
just redo it, you know. Some of the older ones, honestly, the ducks in a row. I mean, people, I mean, we did that one during COVID and it just went crazy. Um, let's see. There's just I don't know. I mean, there's so many. Some of the ones I come up with, I always tell Carly, I'm like, look, I read it. It doesn't sound anything like me. We got to make it a little more smart ass, and then we're good. And so she'll send me emails. Sometimes I'm like, Carly, it sounds great, but it sounds a little too great. You know, you got to get it back to Mississippi a little bit. Come on. So she'll resend some stuff every now and then. But I mean, all the stuff that y'all send is always great. I just have to go through and make sure which ones, fit where I am
Yep.
and what's going on, and obviously in our market in our area. I went
I
to
think that's one thing that makes platform work so well, frankly, is that back and forth between you, the realtor, and your platform account manager of like customizing all the ads
mhm,
and making sure that it's like in your voice and is accurate and
yes,
true to like your community and your personal brand. So when this ad pops up in someone's news feed, if it's a photo of you or it has a video of you, whatever, that when someone actually starts reading the ad, that they 100% think that Christy wrote this. Even though you aren't literally writing every word, you're seeing every word so that we're making it sound like it's
right.
something that you would have written. But obviously, no one in your community knows that, like, well, Christy didn't necessarily write down or sit down and write this from scratch, right?
And I mean, I will say, I don't know if everybody does this, but whenever I go and see the ad that someone else has already created, I copy the whole text and I forward it, and then I go in and redo it.
Yeah,
Not
because you
redo
want to.
it, but you know what I'm saying. Like I don't just send you a picture and say, "Here, do whatever you want." I go ahead and type it up how I would like it to go, and then she might change a word or two, and then say, "Is this okay?" Or not if it's not a big deal. But
And again, that's what makes the ads true to you, because what we don't want is a bunch of just copy and paste template, where it's like, oh, like this doesn't sound like Christy wrote it, or this doesn't sound like something that Christy would say. Like, we want your actual friends and family, the people who know you the best, to have no idea that technically behind the scenes you're working with a marketing company who's helping you,
100%.
write some of these posts.
Because I have a definite personality that people recognize. So, yes, I mean, I want it to sound like me. And I will say, just since we're doing this, when I first started with Platform, I would say the first year to 2 years, I did not do anything near what I do now. I didn't know exactly what I need to do. I think maybe I wasn't matched up perfectly with my account manager, which, whatever. Partially that's my fault. But I would just tell people now, because when I went to the Minnesota mastermind, um,
That was a shit show.
that was a shit show. But yeah,
Everyone was wearing masks the whole time, and the hotel staff was just yelling at.
at that point, I was like, I'm going because I'm either going to not do this anymore or
Yep.
I'm going to change. Like, something's got to change. And it was after that mastermind, got my new account manager, started listening to what she said, started doing everything that she said, I didn't realize how many posts and videos I needed to come out with when I first started. Now, even at this last mastermind in Orlando, I will say I talked to some people that were kind of in that boat, and I said, hey, you got to do what they say. If you can't expect anything if you're not putting the content out. So, I mean, I'm still not the best, and I still always can work on it. Um, but I will say my best method is definitely trying to pick a day, change my shirt a couple times. It takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and you can send, at least 3 photo ads in to your account
Yeah.
manager and just have some things stacked up for them to have on file so that you're not constantly like, oh, crap, I didn't get a picture. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Like right now, I can't find a freaking football. I was going to do that one. Now I'm too late. And you know what I mean? So just getting on things ahead of time and getting them stockpiled for them to have access to makes a huge difference.
Yep. I think one tactic that some of our most effective clients will do is just time block, let's say 3 hours once a week. So it's 3 hours every Monday from noon to 3, or every Friday from 9 a.m. to noon, or whatever. Just pick 3 hours out of the week where like you have a recurring appointment with yourself on your calendar, that you won't schedule showings, or you won't schedule any other meetings or phone calls or anything, because you're treating that appointment with yourself as sacred as any other appointment you might have with a client. But that appointment every week with yourself is when you're creating your marketing content. So you're taking photos that, you're a platform account manager tells you, hey, we need this particular photo for this ad, or we need you to film this video clip because we have this new video idea, but you need to get us this clip, right? If you try to find time in your schedule to do that, when I find a spare 30 minutes, I'll do it. What often happens is you just never do it at all, because something's always gonna feel like, emotionally feel more urgent at the moment than grabbing a quick photo for your account manager or filming a quick video. But if you have an actual appointment that's literally on your calendar every week at the same time, kind of just gives you a good rhythm for, hey, this is when I create this is when I create my marketing content.
Yeah, I would agree with
And
that for sure. And usually, like, I have my phone calls with her Monday mornings, so that's kind of a good time for me because I'm freshly going through what she sent, and I can say, okay, I really want to do that one, and that one. Let me just go ahead and do those pictures
sure.
today. Or the other thing is, and I actually was better about this a year or two ago, and I got to get back into the habit. But everywhere we're at, I need to start taking more pictures to have, but just because like we go out to eat a lot, we go
Yeah.
do things a lot, and I used to always just write a little quick, personal moment ad and send
Right.
it to Carly. And I haven't done as many of those, but those always got tons of interaction because they were either about, hey, we're at Zachary's and we, blah blah blah, local stuff, just what was going on. A quick snapshot of me and Doug there. I've lived here my whole life, so I do know a lot of people. But again, I will say, and I've told you this before, but people ask all the time, so how much of your business comes from platform? And I can tell you right now, 95% without a doubt. even though, let's just say 20% of those people have known me my whole life, they would have known me if I hadn't been doing the social media advertising. That's the first thing everybody says, whether they knew me before or not. And I will tell you now that 60 to 70% is people that never met me before in my life. I had a lady call the other day and she said, well, she texted me and she had a question. She's never bought a house before. She was like, I'm just not really sure where to start. And so I said, can you talk right now? So I called her right then and I just started telling her kind of start to finish what to do, and told her I would send her some lender names and numbers. And she said, well, I'm just so glad that I texted you. So I see you on Facebook all the time. And then I was going down the highway, and I never pay for billboards, by the way. I just got one for free because I was in the top three in my office. So I popped up on the billboard. She happened to see it, and that's when she called me because it put the two things together in her mind. And so, anyway, I'm just, stay on top of everything. If somebody texts you, call them back immediately, and definitely take advantage of what you're already out there doing in the public, because why not? You're out there spending the money anyways. Why not make it a tax write-off?
Yeah, you mentioned too that, like, hey, 95% of my business at this point feels like it's coming from all of these platform marketing campaigns, right?
Yes.
And I think the really interesting thing that you just said is that, however, probably 20% or more of my business are people that have technically known me my entire life,
Hmm.
but because they're seeing all these social media campaigns and they're seeing these ads, that's what gets them to call me, even though they technically have known me my whole life. And I think it's really important,
Yeah.
Christy, it's really important that you pointed that out, because immediately when you said that, what's going on kind of in my mind is I'm like, yeah, 20% of those people have known you their whole life, but they also know other realtors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a realtor around every corner.
That's what so many agents, I think, forget with their marketing, is that I think the biggest opportunity for marketing isn't necessarily in how many strangers it brings to the table and how many like cold leads come in. The biggest opportunity, and the reason that you should be investing in local marketing like we do at Platform, or wherever you're going to spend your money, right, is that it should increase the amount of people who technically already know you but are not doing business with you because they also know other realtors,
Right.
right? So if you can just convince all those people that are kind of on the margin, again, they already technically know you, but for whatever reason they haven't worked with you before. They've worked with other agents that they know that are technically in their network. I mean, even at church, let's say, like if you go to a church that has a couple hundred people, there's probably half a dozen or a dozen realtors in there. So you can't even think of your church as your sphere, because like, well, there's many agents that probably go to that church that consider the members, their sphere. Same thing with your kid's school. Same thing if you have a son or daughter who's on sports teams or dance or anything. It's like you're probably not the only parent who's, a realtor. So your marketing doesn't have to totally dominate everything and you're the only agent in town that people think of. Your marketing just has to position you as being a little bit better or a little bit more interesting than the other realtors that each person knows. And if it does that, you're going to sell a lot of houses.
Right. And having information to provide people that you actually know what you're talking about, you know? So,
What is your typical ad stack? I mean, how many listing videos are you doing every month, or is it mostly photo ads? Like, do you know what that mix looks like of what is a typical month of what ads that you're launching? Oh, sure. Sure. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I think the reason that photo ads work so well on social media, because especially in the last, I don't know, call it the last 5 years, every social media guru, whatever, has been talking about the importance of video. You got to film more videos, whatever. And I think listing videos are really important because as a realtor, a listing video just proves that you are active and you are successful, you know. But the photo ads work so well because they're just the perfect case study of like an ad that doesn't look like an ad. Like you mentioned, if you and Doug go out to eat at, some local restaurant and take 5 seconds and just snap a selfie picture when the food gets there, and boom, you turn that into a retargeting ad, and you just talk about, hey, I went on a date with my husband last night, we went to such and such restaurant, we ordered such and such, we've been going here for years because we love such and such on the menu, or we love this server there that always takes such good care of us, whatever, right? You just write a little post about your experience, and it doesn't have to have any logical tie-in to real estate. It doesn't have to have some cheesy, because I love great service at such and such restaurant, like that's why I pride myself in providing great service to my clients. There's no awkward tie in to you being a realtor. It's literally just, hey, I went to this restaurant, we had a great time. If you're ever looking for a good pizza or good steak or good sushi or whatever it is that you go, you just give that restaurant a shout out and you run that as a retargeting ad. That is a perfect example of what we always talk about a platform of ads that don't look like ads, right? The more of your ads don't look like ads over time, the more people feel like they're actually genuinely getting to know you versus just seeing posts about new listings or open houses, right? If they see stuff like that, even if they've never actually met you, right? They subconsciously start to feel like your Facebook friends, like you actually are friends. And once it gets to that point, people will call you to list their house, or they'll call you when they're ready to buy a house because in their mind, you've shifted from random realtor to you're now in the friend category in their mind. Again, all of this happens like subconsciously.
Exactly.
They never woke up one day and made a decision that, oh, Christy Cox is my friend now, and when we sell our house, she's going to list it because I like her, right? All of that happens subconsciously, but you have to
Mhm.
consistently be putting out content like this that doesn't look like an ad, because that's what helps it like fly under their bullshit radar. If everything is an ad, then you never get to that point because they're thinking, well, of course this is popping up in my newsfeed because she's trying to advertise, right? But
Right.
the
Exactly.
more, yeah, like the more content you put out like that, or frankly, what you did this last week where you stopped in at this
Yeah.
boutique, you brought them lunch just to kind of bless them, no agenda or anything, and then you even filmed a quick small business spotlight video where you're just giving a shout out to her business. The more content that you put out into the community like that, eventually it it comes around like a boomerang, and people want to work with you because they just see how active you are.
Right. Well, they just see that you're a good person. You're not just a realtor out there trying to get their money, because that's what everybody thinks we are. Terrible people trying to screw somebody over. So essentially, what we're doing every day is trying to change their mind of that. Hey, we're actually really good people, and it's against everything that we believe in to screw you over. We will screw ourselves over. I mean, if we're a good realtor, before we will screw you over. So anyway, so yeah,
Yeah, it's like if all of your ads, if kind of the consensus at the end of the day, the cumulative effect of all of your ads is just you giving shout outs to local small businesses and you being active in the community, it kind of positions you without ever you actually having have to say it. It positions you as being an
Mhm.
advocate and a champion of the community. And at the end of the day, who wouldn't want to work with like a champion of the local community
Right.
who just happens to be a real estate agent?
Those, of course, where you're helping another small business, but just everything, everyday things that happen, get the most interaction on your page. Not, I mean, yes, a lot of people look at my listing videos, but more people read the whole story that I typed up last year sometime about cell phones. I just saw this. I had a picture of Marley in her senior outfit because it was the first day of senior year, and just talking about kind of like where did time go? Can't believe it. I remember when she was starting first grade in 2025, like seems so far away, and then we went out to eat and I saw this little boy, just his parents had just given him the cell phone. Or no, I'm sorry, they were on their cell phones and he was sitting there without one, being like so good. And I kept thinking, wow, he's like 4. He has not made a sound. And they got their dinner put in front of them and they had never even spoken to this kid. And I was like, on my text, I'm like, I just want to go over there and slap him. It won't be 10 minutes. You'll be doing what I'm doing right now, watching them go to their first year, first day of senior
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
Like just the people that started responding to, I mean, you just have to think of like little moments because everybody agrees with you. They're going to read those things and they're going to see what kind of person that you are on the inside. You know what I mean? And then they see you doing the things with the small businesses. And then that's what makes them want to work with you because you're relatable.
Yeah. Just get into a habit of sharing your thoughts and creating content, having the emotional courage to kind of put it out there, not really knowing if people are going to think it's dumb or they're going to laugh at you. But whenever you have these random thoughts, just type it out. The nice thing about working with platform, obviously, is you can kind of bounce some of these ideas off of Carly and
Right.
you can kind of like workshop it of writing back and forth and editing a post, and it, can go out and she can help you with all that. But even if you're not working a platform, you're just listening to this podcast, get into the habit of just putting your thoughts out there for the world so that when people follow you on social media, they're not just seeing you share other people's stuff, but you're actually publishing your own thoughts and insights every once in a while. And you'd be shocked at how much business can come from you just by regularly getting into the habit of creating content. So, Christy, can you tell me the quick story as we wrap this up of the purse and Carly?
Oh God.
Because this is several years ago now, I think.
Yes. So that might have been the first year I worked with Carly, and I don't know, first or second. And I had just made a goal if I actually did everything I said I was going to do, and I increased, you know, my GCI by a specific amount or whatever, got us to a specific volume. I don't remember exactly what it was that I was going to buy a Louis Vuitton purse. So I kind of made it known. He reached out to me about, you know, doing a little video for her. And I was like, what hell? I'm about to buy this purse. I want to name it Carly. He's like, what? I said, yeah. Because although we spend a lot of money traveling, I don't go buy extravagant things like that. Just never really have. So I did. I reached my goal. I bought the purse. I named it Carly. And so on the video, he puts me as the very final shot with a very extreme close up of my face.
You're still
Saying,
mad about that.
it's like you didn't have to zoom in quite so far. Anyhow, it was kind of cute. And Carly has many sisters now. So in my closet,
That's awesome.
thanks to the platform.
Yeah, so we got to tell Carly that, hey, like one of your clients was so successful, she named her Louis Vuitton purse after you.
There you go. That's right.
By the way, like I went Christmas shopping for my wife, whatever it was, a couple months ago, and she had never had anything from Louis Vuitton, and I had never bought anything from Louis Vuitton. I
Mhm.
went into the store in Naples where we live, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll surprise her and get her something, super fancy this year for Christmas. And like I had absolutely, I'm a dude, right? Like I had absolutely no idea what Louis Vuitton stuff costs. And when I'm seeing the price tags and these
Yeah.
various things, like the suitcases and the purses, obviously, and everything, I'm like, oh my god, who are the people
Crazy.
keeping this place in business? Like,
But, a lot of it is the experience of that, like going in there, being treated like that, like,
sure.
I mean, it's the white glove deal. But I will tell you, the smaller the bag, the less amount of material, the more expensive the price tag. So you can go buy a whole duffel bag for like the same price as like a purse this big. So anyway,
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, I'm not going to tell anyone what I paid. You can probably Google it, whatever. But I ended up buying my wife a Louis Vuitton suitcase because her suitcase she had was just like
nice,
super old and frankly falling apart. And we go on vacations and stuff. So I was like, yeah, you
right?
should have a nice suitcase. And then I looked at the price tag and I ended up buying it, but I was like, oh, I guess my daughter can't go to college now because I bought you this Louis Vuitton suitcase. So I hope that this lasts a long time because like, I don't know. I saw the prices in there and I'm just like,
I hope it was one
wow.
you could carry on because I wouldn't want to check it.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think they make bags that are large enough where you have to check them. But I was just I had no idea that. I mean, I always knew Louis Vuitton was expensive because you hear people talk about it, the bags and whatever. And so I figured, I don't know, these purses must be $500 or something. And like, I
right?
just truly had no idea how expensive they actually were.
Well, when I bought Carly, I didn't even tell like my husband or my daughter or anything. We were in Birmingham and we were going shopping after Christmas, and so my daughter had a friend with her, and we were shopping at the Summit, and I was like, "Hey, we're going to go in Saks," and they were like, "What's that?" Because it's not a place we typically would go shop. So we go in, and I'm like, "Let's go in here," and my daughter's like, "That's Louis Vuitton. What are you going to do? What are we doing in there? I don't think we're supposed to go in there." You know, they got like the cops, the security guard at the door, and I was like, "Yeah, anybody can go in there." So I walked in there, and I already knew which one I was going to buy and everything. So I
Yeah,
walked
yeah,
in,
yeah.
and I was like, I want to see blah blah blah," and my daughter's like looking at me like I'm crazy, and so the whole experience was just really cool because when she sees me like actually buy it, she's going, "I can't believe you just bought that." And I was like, well, I had said if I reached my goal, I was going to buy it, and I did.
And that's probably a really cool lesson for your daughter to see like her mom working hard and having a specific goal in your business and hitting that goal, right? And that's the kind of lesson you want your
Now she's just categorizing like what all she gets when I die. So, she's like, I think you should get that color. I said, shut up. They'll be
well,
destroyed by then.
now that I know, whenever I see someone who has like Louis Vuitton anything, I'm like, okay, either that person is pretty financially successful or they have like a HELOC on their house because I don't know how anyone is affording to buy these handbags. But um last question, Christy, if you were to mentor someone, let's say, who just joined the platform marketing program or someone who hasn't joined the marketing program but they just want to grow their real estate business, right? What would you tell them? What would be like your final advice on this podcast episode of like, if you had to start over from scratch, let's say you moved to a new city in a new state where you didn't know people, what would you do to get your real estate business rocking and rolling as quickly as possible?
Um, well, since you brought that up, we probably are going to do that in the next 2 years. We're not exactly sure where, so I've, I'm requesting an updated map because this is exactly what I would do there. Now I know it doesn't matter that I didn't live there my whole life. I could go anywhere I want to go as long as are already working with an agent there
Yeah.
and start day one. You know what I mean? But the number one thing is to brand yourself.
Yeah.
You're not branding the company that you work for. You're branding who you are. That's what I could change brokerages tomorrow. It would not matter. We are the number one selling agency in the whole Golden Triangle. Have been for over a decade. Not one time have I had to pull those numbers out at a listing appointment. You don't care
People don't care about the broker, they care about you.
what I can do. They've seen it. So I'm not typically ever even selling myself. I'm just showing up and telling them what we need to do.
So you guys are moving. Are you looking at staying in Mississippi or going to some other state or where are
It'll
you?
be another state. We're just, we probably like Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, like just would
Okay.
like to be on a lake or something somewhere. So
Cool. Cool. Well, we'll have to stay in touch on that.
absolutely, we will be. Don't worry. We're kind of like just when she's out of school, we go and we check out different places and
Yeah, yeah.
check out the towns because we want somewhere. She doesn't want to live here her whole life. I never intended to be here my whole life. Um, of course, I've had good business here. My family's here. It's worked out as it was supposed to, but that is kind of our end game, and I'm not retiring anytime soon. So I want to do this wherever I go. So before I would have probably not moved forward on that dream because I would have thought I could only do real estate wherever people already knew me. Now I know that it doesn't matter.
Well, Christy, thank you for your time today. I think this was a really interesting episode, especially what you shared about that kind of lighthouse marketing moment you had with that small business owner. So I hope this was as valuable for everyone listening as it's been for me, even learning kind of how you pulled that off. So, Christy, again, thanks, and guys, we'll see you on the next episode of the Platform Marketing Show.